Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
You are listening to the Welsh Regional Rugby Podcast. We haven't quite worked out what the A in RAP stands for yet, but bear with us. This is the best place for fans in Wales to get involved and have your say about what matters to you or on your regional team. Then again, I would say that because I'm a presenter. So anyway, here we go. Welcome to the show. Okay, so welcome to this week's RAP podcast, and no surprise really that Jamie's smiling and the rest of us are just going, oh, we got to do this shit again this week. And just look at Jamie's smiling face. So, how are we all feeling, gents? How are we all?
Awful.
Marvellous.
I'm feeling really good, actually. Yeah. Really good.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I forgot all about last week. I'm looking forward to Saturday, to be honest.
Yeah. So Cowan's gone straight on. Let's start with predictions. Yeah.
Let's get blasted on.
Yeah, it does have a bit of a... Well, let's start with a happy one. Let's start with the easy one. What's your beer of the week, guys? What's your drink of the week? Who's got...
I've gone for a Cobra, only because I had a curry the other night and it's left over from that. So, yeah, it should keep me through the podcast.
Lovely stuff.
Jane, what's your drink of the week, my friend?
Well, I'm quite partial to fruity beers, and I was in Tesco's the other day and I saw this on the shelf. I thought, I think I'll give that a try. It's cherry beer, Krieg Boon.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you've heard of that one. Yeah,
Cherry beer.
It's Belgian cherry beer. It's only 4%. Yeah, and I gotta say, it's very, very nice. Very fruity, very nice. So, yeah, Krieg Boon, it's called.
Are you sure that's not your wife's beer again, mate? Are you nicking your
It's definitely not the wife's. No, it's definitely not the wife's. This is mine. I bought it in Tesco's. Yeah, she wasn't happy about the Magnus Rosé incident, but yeah, this is my beer.
One that you stole it, two that you thought it was awful.
Yeah, double whammy.
Carwyn, what about you, mate? What's your beer of the week?
Right, I've got, it's called Brag de Gogarth from the Great Orme Brewery. It's called Welsh Gold or Gymru. Hang on, have you see that?
Aye, yeah.
That's nice.
Proper one, that. Aye.
Yeah, it's all right. It's, what is it? It's 3.6 as well.
See, he's drinking straight from the bottle.
Right?
Is that from Co-op?
It is from the Co-op, yeah.
Wow.
Did you get any autographs while you were shopping there this week?
No, I didn't go, so the wife went this week. I did ask for some Moretti and she came back with this Welsh stuff. So you've got her to blame.
Well,
local looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
she just said local independent traders like the bloody trotters down here.
Well, my beer is it's a Welsh one as well. It's called Hiraeth, and it's from someone in Swansea. My eyes are going, boys. I can't see. Someone in the Swansea Brewery. It's not Gower Brewery, but it's another Swansea brewery. Master Brewers. Oh no, Master Brewed. Fuck it, I don't know. Anyway, it's called Hiraeth, and it's a pale ale. It's quite nice. I quite like it. It's going down really well. So yeah, it's
nice.
Yes.
I
Enjoy.
was meant to go to the Scarlets game on Friday night, and I was meant to pick up a pack of Velin Voil, do a specialist 150-year celebratory pale ale. So I thought, we'll have some of that, lovely jubbly. That'll be perfect for the podcast next week. And then I couldn't get to the game. And then I went to order it online, and it's like £7 for fucking delivery. I thought, bollocks to that. It's going to have to wait a few weeks. So, you know.
Plus you saved yourself a tenner on the ticket, eh? Come to watch that.
Which leads us quite nicely into, let's talk about how shit we all were last week, and then Jamie can smile.
Some of us were shit.
I mean, in fairness,
Cardiff weren't that bad.
that is
Friday, I was like looking through my fingers, man.
But it's a mighty win. That team's
Hey, you beat what's playing in front of you, mate. We played what's in front of us. And we would have lost that game a couple of years ago, and in fact, we did.
You smashed them as well, isn't it? It wasn't the just
you know what?
The finish post that the Scarlets got.
We're watching a game in the stadium, right? And I turned to my dad and I said, does this make you feel a bit uncomfortable? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, we're watching the Dragons at Ronnie Parade. We know they're not going to lose. We know they're not going to shit the bed. Doesn't it feel slightly unnerving how comfortable it is? And you went, yeah, it is a bit. It was. It felt really weird.
Oh, is everyone frozen?
No way, the Dragons were going to win, and they were winning comfortably. It's not. It's a wild, and people say, well, it's only seen, but, like I said, we lost that game last season, 2019, before the pandemic. They came down to Ronnie Parade. I saw them. They beat us, so the Dragons of old would have easily lost that game, and they've done in the past. So it was a very good win.
And they didn't just win. When they smashed them, didn't they? They absolutely smashed them.
Well,
just for the sake of the listeners, I just want to say that, Carowin's picture is very Halloween-y at the moment. Just his disembodied head in the darkness as he's.
It's like the Blair Witch Project, isn't it? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Where are you?
I know.
You in the woods or something?
No, I'm in the garden. I can't do this. Don't do this inside around the kids. But I got to be honest, I'm really pleased for the Dragons. They're the one team I've always wanted to do well, other than the Ospreys down the years. And I'm like, will they ever get their act together? And finally, it's maybe I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to jinx them, but I think they're doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early in the season, isn't it? So let's hold our horses. But it's been a very encouraging opening block. I mean, to back up last week's bonus point win, with the Ospreys, 2 bonus point wins in 2 weeks. I wasn't expecting that, and it's pretty good. Yeah,
and really intelligent play as well, wasn't it? Is it not Steph Evans? It is
Steph Hughes. No, Steph
Hughes. Sorry, Steph Hughes, the centre. Yeah, I really like him. He's good in that midfield, isn't he?
He's proven to be a really smart pickup, and I know Scarlets have had budget issues and they had to let him go, but they clearly ruin it. They ruined that decision because it's a brilliant pickup for the Dragons. He's been excellent since he's come down. He was excellent again. He's just, like I said, he's not flashy, but he's so intelligent. The lines he runs, his passing, his movement off the ball. He's a really good, solid club pro, and he's been a brilliant pickup. And I'm delighted he's with us, to be honest.
When he was with us, though, he never made that breakthrough with us. He always had Jonathan Davis in front of him. Do you know what I mean? So he was always kind of playing second fiddle and just filling in every now and again. And I think, to be honest, the way he's playing at Dragons is a mile ahead of where he was playing for Scarlets. He had a couple of decent runs with us, and he kind of showed bits of it, but not all of it. And I think it's like a fresh lease of life for him And there's that bit of because he's still on a temporary contract. He's not on a permanent contract.
Oh, he's injury cover. Yeah, he's injury cover at the moment. But that might be permanent. Who knows the way things.
I think he will. His career then, isn't he? That's different, isn't it? When you're playing for your career.
Yeah, and I think he kind of needed it to kind of give him that bit of encouragement to kick on and do what he can do. Because he was starting to move into coaching. He was coaching the under-18s last year. And, you kind of had that feel that he didn't get taken to South Africa. I think there was only about 5 players that didn't go to South Africa. And he was one of them that just wasn't taken, wasn't needed sort of thing. So, you just had that feeling that he wasn't going to fit in and he wasn't going to be part of the future. So I'm pleased for the fact that, he's found that new lease. And sometimes players need it. Sometimes you need to just go somewhere different and different environment and just a bit of a foot up the arse sort of a thing. So I'm pleased for it. It's working out well for everyone apart from us.
Yeah.
So
he would have learned a lot. He would have learned a lot from Jonathan Davis and Scott Williams as well, Playing in that squad environment. And he's used that to his advantage,
Absolutely. And of course, he's worked with Dave Flanagan in the past, so Dave Flanagan knows all about Steph Hughes and what he can do. Angus O'Brien, another player, come from the Scarlets. He's been terrific. The Scarlet boys have come down to us, actually been really, really good. So, I'm very happy.
Rising and rising, isn't it? Yeah.
That's what happens when you win games.
Yeah, but such a young coach as well, sort of thing. He's the best coach in Wales at the moment, isn't he?
It's like I said, he's been chucked into the deep end, haven't he, with all this Dean Ryan stuff. And I think he's dealt with it really well. And doesn't he speak so well in the media? Every media interview I've seen him give, very articulate, very intelligent, and he's enjoying it. You can tell he's enjoying the chaos that is at the Dragons. It is organised chaos at the moment, and he absolutely loves it. He's a proper Gwent boy, and he's getting stuck into the challenge. And he believes in the players. He always speaks. He's not like Dean Ryan, but every time you hear Dean Ryan speak, it was always, but Dave speaks more enthusiastically, he's more positive about the players. He's always praising them. Yeah, and they're playing for him. They like playing for him, and they're showing in performances and results. So so far, so good.
Have they sorted the Dean Ryan stuff out yet then? Or is that still kind of...
No, I mean, it's legalities. I mean, he is gone. He's not coming back, but it's just this legal wranglings there to sort out. And that could take a very long time. So goodness knows when that'll be. But no, fair play to Dai. He's taking charge and it's all working out at the moment.
Who have you got next after the internationals?
Well, we got to go to South Africa as all the Welsh teams have, but we got to spend another week in South Africa because the news broke today that the Lions are going to be replacing Wasps in the European Challenge Cup. Dragons were, of course, scheduled to play Wasps, so that we've got to spend another week in South Africa. We'll play the Lions first, then we play the Stormers, then we got to play the Lions again in the Challenge Cup. So it's not ideal at all, really. No, but it is what it is. But I would have liked, non-South African team. It's only be another European team, but it's not ideal at all, really.
Imagine having to spend
bit of warm weather playing.
Yeah, another week in South Africa in the sun on the beaches instead of being in bloody Newport where it's pissing down 5 degrees and howling a gale. Oh, it must be hell to have to spend another week.
That's why you want to play the Lions, though, isn't it? In the pissing down rain and the icy cold, isn't it? That's what you want them. But
these South African teams are physical minded, aren't they? Let's not forget they're very physical. So I am wondering, how many injuries are we going to pick up? That's my concern, these South African teams are strong.
Supporters do you think will travel from the Dragons cohort to go and watch the Dragons in South Africa?
Oh, I don't know, about 2 or 3.
The pilot.
You get expats out there. You'll have Welsh expats out there, but you could ask that question for all the regions. Come here, not many people can afford this time of year to go to bloody South Africa. If you do, great, crack on. But most of us be watching on telly.
I watched the Dragons a couple of years ago up in the Kingspan against Ulster, and I was the only one cheering for the Dragons.
Well done. They got battered today, I presume.
That included the bench.
They got hammered.
Yeah, that don't come as a surprise.
Within the Isles of the United Kingdom, supporters should be able to get around. Even if it's just a couple of away games a season,
Yeah. It's a shame about Wasps, Mike, because I was looking forward to going to Coventry. I've been to Wasps Coventry ground before, and it's quite an enjoyable day out. I like the ground. It's smaller than it looks on telly, believe it or not. But it's a bit of a shame. I saw the new state lines. But it is what it is. But the good news is there's 8 teams now in this pool, and 6 of them can qualify from it. So that gives Dragons a really good chance, providing we win our home games. Even if we lose out to South Africa and we got to play Pau, will they give a shit about this tournament? I don't know, because they're struggling in the top 14. There is a good chance, actually, for Dragons to get out of this pool, provided they win their home games. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know what the rest of the teams. It's one 10-team pool, and it's another 18. They've had to rejig it now. But yeah, it's basically the top 6 now from the 8 teams. They qualify, so there is a good opportunity for Dragons to get out of it, you know.
So do you think, do you reckon now, right, that so Dragons are just starting to kind of build a bit of momentum now, aren't they? And they're just starting to really get going. So this 3 weeks, or is it a 3-week break? Is it a 2 or a 3-week break, in it? And then we go out to South Africa. For the Dragons, that's come at just the wrong time. For Scarlets, perfect, lovely, couple of weeks off, let's reset and let's start again sort of thing. Dragons, you'd want to just keep playing that. You'd play 2 games a week at the minute, wouldn't you? Just to kind of build that momentum and keep it going. So what do you reckon the chances on, falling off the wagon for when you get out to South Africa?
Oh, quite easily done, because, all the regions are struggling out in South Africa. The Lions they don't get the credit they deserve, Lions. A lot of people write them off. Yes, they are the weakest of the South African franchises, but they are a very good team. But I would say they're probably
last.
Absolutely. I think they're more beatable than the Stormers, Sharks, and Bulls. I think that's probably Dragons' best chance of getting away. I mean, they're not going to beat the Stormers. That ain't going to happen at all. But if they come back with any sort of bonus point, whether that be a try bonus point or a losing bonus point, I think Dragons would have done well. Although Dave Flanagan did say this week that he's looking forward to getting out to South Africa because the pitches and the sunny weather, it'll suit the game that they want to play. So I think we'll see Dragons sort of trucking about. Yeah, they'll probably play caution to the wind. They'll chuck caution to the wind and chuck the ball about, and that's the way I expect them to play. But it's tough for all the regions in South Africa, isn't it? Because all our teams have gone there and they've all gone battered. So it's going to be tough.
It's going to be interesting though, having all 4 sides out there at the same time, and just kind of. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see if somebody gets injured, then somebody might call on one of the other teams for a lone player or something like that. Do you know what I mean? If injuries at the minute are anything to saying that, Scarlets are meant to have an extra 10 players back by the time we go to South Africa, apparently. So it might not affect us so much, but Ospreys 13 players down with Wales anyway, and then a couple of hefty injuries. I won't be at all surprised if, a couple of players go down before, or do you know what I mean? Then there'll be calls going around going, can we borrow so-and-so this week? And you can, it'll be interesting. And it's an interesting way of putting all 4 teams in the same place at the same time and just seeing how it works out, isn't it?
It could work, isn't it? I think it could work, let's say with the loan system or whatever. And just to help other teams out, I think so we are getting a lot of injuries in the game in general at the moment, aren't we? And especially with the resource we have here in Wales, I think we've got to help each other out.
I'd quite like to see somebody take Reece Webb on loan and put him in at a hooker. Just go on, son, off you go. In a hooker, you'll be fine. Go into a couple of scrums. They're only small. Go on, you'll be fine, Reece. Carry on, fella. See how you get on. I think that would make me laugh.
He's with the Barbarians, isn't he? He's with the Barbarians, Reece Webb. Did you see that? Him and Aaron Wainwright have been called out to the Barbarians. Yeah. Well, so that'll be interesting.
Just to use Jamie's phrase, talking of shit in the bed, what happened to Cardiff against Edinburgh?
Right, shall I start? I'm glad we're ending on the Ospreys and the Scarlets, mate, today.
We'll cover them. Don't worry, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Take a minute or two.
bro. It's very disappointing. I thought we started quite brightly, even though the Edinburgh went ahead quite early. We took a while to sort of set ourselves, but once we started, we looked we looked like a set piece side, like, and our driving maul was causing Edinburgh all sorts of problems, like, and it's not often I say that about a Cardiff side. In the scrum, I thought we had the measure of them, and I had some mystifying referee decisions go against us when we seem to be like pushing them back. So like, I don't claim to understand like every sort of rule of the front row and things like that, isn't it? But we just looked to be dominant. So I didn't understand some of the decisions. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not one-eyed. I'm absolutely livid about like some of the decisions in the second half. The forward pass with Jason Harris try. We just, it felt like to me, and you can all give me balance, so I'll just do the Cardiff point of view by here, isn't it?
That's dangerous asking for balance of Jamie, mate. That's not going to happen.
What are you trying to say?
All over him. Like I remember, like Thomas Young just ripping the ball off a man stood up, sort of thing, and he gave a penalty to them, saying he'd gone to the ground already, sort of thing. Nowhere near. It just, everything that we were dominating them on, the referee gave decisions like against us. And it just took the wind out of our sails, and more then in the second half they just became more dominant because they could be. And not taking anything away from Edinburgh in the way that they attacked. It was lovely rugby they played in some of their attacks. Their attack coach is really, really good, clearly. Their back line looked sharp, even though they've lost like loads of players to the Scottish side. But yeah, I'm just not very happy with some of the decisions that were made. I'm happy with the effort the Cardiff put in, because sometimes the times I've come away from the Arms Park going like, do you mean like, isn't it? At least I care, what have you. But I thought, from 1 to 15 they had a crack at it. Even deep into the second half, did you see Corey Domachowski's break? And soft hands from Rory Thornton, just to put him into the gap, and then he chipped ahead. I was like, no, it's like screaming from the terrace. It's like, what are you doing? He could have just set that up, hitting the ruck and what have you. But that was that afternoon. We lost. I was gutted.
So I just want to read your WhatsApp message, which must have been less than 10 minutes after the final whistle.
That's after a few beers
your message simply reads, "Fucking ref," and that was it. Oh, just fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah. Something I haven't said is that my phone just went off. No, my whole family is in France. My wife and my 2 children have gone with my wife's brother and their 2 children. So I've had sort of a bachelor's week. So I was able to go to the game and have a few pints with the boys afterwards. So those tweets came from from the bar more than from my sort of intellect.
So how does a Sunday game work then for you guys? Because Jamie, you've had a Sunday, you had a Sunday game against the Ospreys, didn't you?
We've had 2. We've had one against Munster as well. That was a Sunday.
And so Reece, you just had a Sunday game. We haven't had a Sunday game yet. So better, worse, no different?
Worse.
Don't think it makes any difference for the Scarlets, to be honest, is it?
Fuck off, Carwin. We haven't got there yet. From a supporter's point of view, I'm thinking, does it, how does it rate compared to a Saturday or a Friday night game? Or
I don't mind. I mean, my ideal kickoff time, I've always said, I like a Saturday 3 p.m. That's the traditional kickoff time. 5:15 on a Saturday is fine, but I don't mind Sundays. From a Dragons point of view, though, attendance-wise, Sunday has been the best attended. We had a good crowd against Munster. We had a really good crowd against Ospreys. The crowds we've had since then has been, averaging around the 4,000 mark. So, attendance-wise, Sunday seems to be our best attended games. But, in an ideal world, I would prefer a Saturday afternoon kickoff. I know that clashes with, you get people saying, well, that clashes with grassroots. I can't go to that game if I'm playing, and I want to see my local club. But, you can't please everyone, can you? Really?
No.
Saturday for me is the best.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking the Sunday afternoon game might actually work from an attendance point of view and from a money point of view, that might actually be quite a good call. I say I don't know. I don't. If we had a Scarlets game on a Sunday, I don't know how that would work for me. But there'd be less things to worry about. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. The worst ones are the 7:35 on a Saturday, because that is a terrible time for families of young children. It's far too late.
It's too late.
It's too late for the kids. I don't like it. It's cold, and it's just that is not a suitable time for the families. This is why I prefer the afternoon. I would say.
It's cold.
Yeah,
don't run the parade on a
cold Friday night on a Saturday night.
It's stressful getting them back to the car, through the crowds afterwards. Because you especially the Arms Park, you just hit Cardiff on a Friday night, with your kids in it going just stay close to Dad, and then just marching through, isn't it?
But sorry for me, I get a bus home. It takes me 20 minutes to get back from Rodney Parade on the bus. But if you're travelling, if you're going to go to Cardiff, or some people do travel to Dragons games, believe it or not. It's by the time you get home, it could be 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it's just too late.
What's his name, Jamie?
It's a long day, isn't it?
What's his name?
What's his name?
It's the bus driver of the opposition. That's what it is. Just the only one who travels.
We got fans, just not that many.
Yeah.
Growing all the time, mate. Well, let's demolish the Scarlets for a couple of minutes, and then we'll trash the Ospreys, and then we move on to sunnier climes. So, Gordon Bennett, it was hard watch, because we made 6 or 7 line breaks. There were some bits of that game that we were totally in control of, and to end up on the wrong side of a pasting again. Just really, really frustrating. The amount of times we made a break and then we ran the back of them and we're one pass away from a try. I think there were at least 4 line breaks there that were one decent pass away from a try. So we're not seeing it as the shit that everyone else is kind of seeing it as. It's just it's not clicking at the minute. New coach confirmed today coming in, Lee Blackett. So we're hoping that's
good appointment.
Yeah,
very good appointment, Harris.
He's worked with Dwayne Peel before as well. I think he was coaching when Peel was playing or something like that. I think there's a connection with him somewhere before.
Okay,
and it's so they kind of know each other a fair bit. So that starting bit, it's an easy start for him as well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, take the results aside. We're not far away from where actually we need to be, but it just shows how competitive this league is. Where if you're not absolutely on it, you're just getting fucking pasted every week, and it's hard. It's hard. I feel sorry for you, Jamie, having to put up with this for the last 10 seasons. I've had it for 3 games.
Yeah, you've got no idea. Imagine having it for years, dealing with this for years and years. You're only just realising.
It's tough, isn't it? It's not easy. Torch on another team, Lee. That's
He's in my world now, and now he knows the pain.
No, it is. It's and I think there's some good players in there. Like I said, we got 10 players coming back from injury over the next 2 weeks, and another 2 coming back off cards. I think Fafita and Lausi are both going to South Africa. So, it's not all doom and gloom, and I think that's why this kind of break in the season has come at just the right time for us, where it's all just take a couple of minutes, take a couple of deep breaths, let's start again, get some boys back on the pitch, and let's go. And the expectations going to South Africa are quite low, so you can kind of go out there and shock a few people, and it may be just kind of the right point of the season for us. It might work really, really well. We're not losing that many players to Wales, so we're going to train with pretty much the full squad for the next 4 weeks. And our next competitive game our next competitive URC game is on Boxing Day. You know, it's in the UK. So the next game in the UK is on Boxing Day. So, you know, it's a good long kind of trot before we get back into URC and competitive stuff. So I'm not, you know, I've seen some of the bollocks going around Facebook and Twitter. I'm not that bothered about it, to be honest. It is hard, it is shit, but calling for people to be sacked and, you know, this, that, and the other. I think there are structural issues within the Scarlets, the Scarlet setup, the Scarlets region that you guys just wouldn't think of addressing. Like, you know, some of our, when you talk about players coming through into the academy in your feeder system, Cardiff works off two colleges that are both in Cardiff city centre and about 10 minutes away from Cardiff Club. You know, in Scarlet's region, you got boys in Aberystwyth, in Pembroke. You know, we're hour 15 away from a home game. You know, so I think we're starting to see issues popping their heads up that are deeper than just the headline, if you like. You know, when you scrape that first team away and you start looking at what's underneath and what's coming up, we've got different issues in the Scarlets region and always have done. And we've always kind of found a way to kind of paper over the cracks. And now with that money kind of starting to sink, we've had to go, shit, we actually need to do something a bit different here to start bringing our own players through, because it's not happening the way it needs to. So fingers crossed. It's the start of something different and the start of something new. And,
Lee, how concerned are you about Scarlet's discipline? Because there was a shocking stat that came out over the weekend. 7 league games we've played. Scarlets have received 10 yellow cards and 2 red cards. Now that's ridiculous, isn't it? That's a culture issue. That something is clearly not right.
Well, I'm going to refer to Reese's WhatsApp message and go fucking refs. That's
Oh, it's all the refs' fault. Okay, yeah, let's just blame the refs.
No,
we've been doing that all
season. Penalties, Lee. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, I think we've gotten ourselves into a position where we're in that desperate position too often, and when you get into that desperate position, you know, you start doing things that you wouldn't normally do. You lose the cool a little bit earlier. Some of the yellow cards, like Costello's yellow card against the Ospreys. Was it the Ospreys? No, Ulster. Costello is one against the one against the Ospreys was perfectly genuine. You know, he lifted him, he caught it wrong, he spiked him, yellow card, no problem at all. The one against Ulster, the guy's jumping for the ball, competing in the air, and he gets, you know, his hands are up there. His left hand gets caught on the Ulster player. The Ulster player's right hand catches Costello's left hand. And because the Ulster player lands awkward and Costello doesn't, Costello's off on a yellow. It's bits like that you just kind of, it starts to eat at you, and it starts to eat at your confidence. And then you start kind of, you get into that desperation a lot sooner than what you would is if everything's going nicely and smoothly and you've got confidence in everything, you don't feel like you've got to go flying into that ruck. You don't feel like you've got to go for that interception. You can.
It takes away the sharpness, doesn't it? It takes away the sharpness of how heavy you will go into certain things if people are picking you off for perceived crimes.
Yeah.
But that's about consistency across the board then, from the referees and TMOs and touch judges. You know, it has to be completely consistent across the board.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone knows where they stand.
And at the minute, TMOs are an absolute fucking joke. Absolute joke. And it isn't just Scarlets. I think it is, we are getting pinged more than most. And I think that comes down to desperation and confidence. But some of the decisions that TMOs are missing or okaying and rubber stamping, where you're just going, this isn't right. I think that's a deeper issue for the URC that really needs to be ironed out, because it's week on week on week, and it's across the board. And if
their decisions are the fine difference between a team losing and winning the game. You know, it's like when the Ospreys played the Stormers, there was a blatant forward pass for the Stormers, and it wasn't picked up at all. Apart from the crowd. The crowd saw it, you know, and everyone on TV and everyone on Mars fucking saw it. But you know, the team owner didn't see it, the ref didn't see it. but it does. It makes a huge difference to the game and the result of the game.
So now that you started talking about the Ospreys, then Carwyn, and we've quite conveniently moved away from the Scarlets game, and that's boxed off. That's gone. We're not going to go back and talk about that one now. Yeah, let's get stuck into the Ospreys game, shall we?
Yeah, I thought there was not much to get stuck into, to be honest. I mean,
well, Pab, the good empathy.
But from the start, you know, we had two good tries, heads up rugby, and it was like confident, happy days, get amongst them. But then, as soon as Connacht hit back, we dropped our heads. We had no attacking intent. We were kicking the ball, kicking the fucking ball, and there was just nothing. And I don't know what happened to change that mindset. Whereas, like, they just went into a defensive mode. They were too afraid to attack. Whereas they clearly had the ability to go forward and could have won the game. Absolutely, they could have won the game. And I look at it like the last few games now from the start of the season, Ospreys could have won the last 3 or 4 of their matches. You know, Dragons aside, I thought the Dragons were a far better team. But it's just a shame because there's young lads there, and I feel like the rugby's been drilled out of them. You know, they were heads up, bang, bang, 2 tries, and that was it. Can you boys hear me?
Yeah.
We're waiting for you to calm down and let everyone else kind of get stuck into you, mate, is what it is.
Ah, there he is. We can see you now. We couldn't see you.
Yeah.
Fine.
I thought it was
You're basically describing Cardiff at the end of last season, like, isn't it? Go, you know, have a good bright start and then just crumble away, sort of thing. And that happens across the board with the. Well, it's happened. You'd admitted that's happened to the Dragons as well, and it's happening to the Scarlets the past couple of games as well, isn't it? Like, you know, thinking about.
But I think we've got promise going forward. You know, we've got a good squad. We only brought one player in, young Jack Welsh, this season, and I tell you, I thought we had a good game. Was young Hugh Sutton in the second row? I thought he had a cracking game against Connacht. Yeah, he scored a try as well. I think he was named the URC team of the week as well. But I thought he was good. And excuse me, I think there is promise. We can kick on for the rest of the season. I think we'll have a tidy season. I hope we finish above the rest of you, just because I think we should.
Just because, isn't it? just because you're the Ospreys.
Yeah.
The arrogance of it. The absolute arrogance of that. Bloody hell.
Remember, boys, he's his best.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Oh, no. I do. I think we should be where we're sitting in the table at the moment.
You've got the best squad out of all the regions. That is a fact. And to only win one game at this stage of the season, I think is pretty poor, quite frankly, with the players you've had.
We've had 2 draws. 3 draws.
I think it's 2 in there you've had.
2, yeah. Us and one of the South Africans, isn't it?
Yeah, we lost by a point to the Storm, or 2 points to the Storm. We lost by a couple of points to Connacht.
You drew with the Stormers.
We drew with the Stormers?
Yeah, 60.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Yeah. That's right. Like I say, it's fine margins again. And I'm not going to blame the ref. I'm going to blame the TMO because he should have fucking seen it, because it was a mile forward, that forward pass, you know. But I don't know. I think there's promising days ahead. And actually, at the moment, I think there's promising days ahead for 3 of the 4 regions.
So who's the one that's not promising then? No, we don't. Tell us, Darwin. Who was that? Who are you alluding to? Who do you possibly on about? Tell us.
Well, they wear red. They like to celebrate.
Be clear. Be clear.
It's the Scarlets boys, isn't it? You know.
Of course. Sorry. Yeah.
The only team that is not looking forward to the future at the minute is the Dragons, because the only way for them now is downwards. For the rest of us, we can only improve. It's only Jamie sitting there going like, this is quite nice. This is. I'm feeling comfortable knowing that at some point you're going to take a tonking and a half, where the rest of us are going, fuck it, we're just used to being disappointed at the minute. So anything else is an improvement. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say Jamie, I'd say the Dragons are the only ones that need to be worried about the rest of the season.
Do you know what? Like that the more this podcast goes on, the more we get to know each other. The more we just like swinging for each other. Like, and even if you haven't got like a good punch to land, we're all swinging at each other.
It's quite aggressive at times, isn't it? Really passive aggressive. Some of the comments on you.
You notice that the more you drink, the more it becomes like that pub kind of thing. We'll go, I'm gonna fucking have it in a minute. You fucking
okay. Well, let's put a ref in
rock bottom. There's only one way to go now.
You say that for years.
In between us. Let's put a ref in between us. End on that point with the regions, and let's come together for the cause of our country. We are playing the All Blacks this Saturday, and I for one think we're going to fucking win.
My friend said,
by a point.
My mate reckons Wales by 8, and he's usually not wrong about these things, isn't it? But I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'd like to think we could. After watching I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights against Japan, the extended highlights. Did you see them?
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't see them.
Really good.
No.
But then Japan kind of. They changed up a lot of things. You know, they were cheeky lineouts, they were cheeky tap and goes. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. You weren't playing into New Zealand's hands. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what Japan's been doing season upon season. Japan basically going like a lot of sides come like, let's tier 2 rugby nations. Let's see who we're most like and try and play like them, isn't it? But Japan's gone. We're just unique, man. We've got fast players. We have got a good skill set. Their skill sets are amazing. And the passing between the backs and the forwards is like anything from New Zealand or South Africa or Australia. But they play to their strengths, don't they? Sort of thing. They move the ball fast away from the contact area as soon as possible, and they now have something they haven't had before. This past 5 years, or maybe since 2015 and just before, is forwards that can hit it up. They might be smaller, but they're strong and they can hit it
they're
up.
Powerful.
Foreigners in there that add a little bit of meat and bone to the pack.
Yeah. A lot of credit, though, has to go to Jamie Joseph, because he's built on the good work that Eddie Jones. He's built on those foundations. I think he's done a terrific job with Japan. And they are, you know what, they're brilliant to watch in Japan. They're so entertaining. They're great. And they gave the All Blacks an almighty scare.
Yeah.
And they're playing England this season, because I'd love to watch them tonk England.
I'm not sure about that.
I think what it shows, though, is that, that dip in form that the All Blacks have had is a bit more than a dip in form. It's
ongoing.
It's not I can't say it's a downward trend or anything like that, but that air that they used to have of stepping on the pitch, and that's good. As long as the All Blacks are on the pitch, that's good for 15 points, sort of thing. That's gone now, and maybe part of the issue that Wales have had for the last 50 odd years has been in the head. Yeah, some of it has been in the pitch, and some of it has been in the skill set. But we've come so close so many times, and there's always just that last little bit. Even if you're going into those last 5 minutes and you're 15 points ahead, and you're going, "Oh, I'm not liking this. I'm not." It's only 5 minutes left.
15 minutes, another 20 minutes, wouldn't they? They'll keep on playing.
But when you look at the All Blacks, though, right? Look at the All Blacks this year. They lost at home to Ireland. They lost that series, and the country was in mourning, wasn't it? In New Zealand, that did not go down well at all. They had a mixed. No, they had a mixed bag of a rugby championship, because they lost at home to Argentina. That was another huge shot, and yet for all the criticism they took, they still ended up winning the rugby championship, and that's why I always say you can never ever write off the All Blacks. Yes,
of course not.
you can talk about, their aura is, disappearing. They're not invincible as they used to be. But you look at the team they've named today, it's still pretty good, isn't it?
It is,
they haven't got Brody Vitalik, he's suspended, and they haven't got Sam Kane and Dane Coles and Will Jordan's not available. Yes, only a second test at 12, which is interesting. It's not a position he normally plays, but you look at their team; they still got a pretty good team.
He's played there a couple of tests now. He's a big boy, Yeah, so I don't think he's going to be, a weak point for him.
But the back line, though, the Kiwi back line, Aaron Smith, Richie Moanga, Caleb Clark, Jody Barrett, Rico Ione, Sarah Rees, and Bowden Barrett. I mean, that's a good back line. You can't argue with that, can you?
But at the same time, that Welsh back line now is quite settled. When you look at the teams that we all selected, and you look at the team that's actually been selected,
Darwin's team.
Well, yeah, there's a good at least 10 of them. We pretty much all selected who's ended up on the park. Do you know what I mean? So it's a fairly comfortable side. They're obviously comfortable together, and they played together a fair bit. And I think you're in that phase now of kind of building stuff together. We've gone through the bit of, all right, Alan Wynne-Jones is kind of maybe his last 3 or 4 games that he started in where he was there on reputation, yeah. And having him now come off the bench with
like an impact player
in his hand.
But no, he's not an impact player. That's the problem, isn't it, with Alan Wynne-Jones? He's not that impact player. But he is a leader, isn't he? And you need people like that in the dressing room.
Yeah.
That's why he's there.
And when you're bringing him on with 10, 15 minutes to go or 20 minutes to go, and he is quite a fiery player. He can be quite a fiery player when he comes on. That's a good thing for players around you to see. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want to say, when you banned me from predicting a Dragons win, James.
Yes, that's still ongoing, by the
way. I'm kind of in that feeling at the minute. I'm usually quite confident. I think this is the one, and I've been like that now for about 30 years. This is the one. I don't care if we haven't won a game for 15 games. This is the one. I just feel we're going to sneak it, and I'm not like it.
That's part of our culture, though, isn't it? That's something we can all unite on. It's like blind optimism. Is the
great optimism of Wales?
South regional and Welsh rugby, isn't it? Like, every time I go to Cardiff, all week I'll be like, no, we can't do that. And then, like, on the day, like,
this is it.
Come on, boys. A couple of beers down me as well. And it's, dear, that's.
What do we think of the actual squad, though? Oh, we do, yeah. Well, what do we actually think of the team that's been named? Because when I saw it today, normally when I see a Welsh, you're like, oh, why is he there? And you question a couple of decisions. I really like this team. I really do. And it's great to see Rio in there. I didn't think he was going to get selected, but it turns out that Adams and Cuthbert aren't quite there yet. Massive opportunity for him. Him and Louis Rees-Zammit on the wings. I mean, that's gas right there, isn't it? And if they get time and space, if they get him the ball, they're going to cause some damage. It's really exciting.
Rio isn't a small boy, is he?
No, he's not. No,
like Zamo's what, 6'4". I don't know how big Rio is, but he's not small.
Well, that's what gave him the height over Keelan Giles. Pivak did say that, he's bigger and his aerial work is really good. But there's not one player. I mean, I suppose some people said, well, Nicky Smith could have started, said Gav Thomas, Ken Owens, but I look at that team and I think it's really exciting and I like it and I can't argue with it. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a strong team.
Come on, isn't it? Nicky Smith's another one that is a good strong come on with half hour or whatever to go at the 50-minute mark, and scrummage well and still be moving around the park.
Yeah. Well, you look from South Africa now. We won a game. We should have won 2. That's it now. That's where the buck stops. This is it now. We are World Cup season. We have to start winning these autumns. We're getting stuck into the Six Nations. We win the fucking Six Nations. We beat Ireland. We beat England. We beat France, fucking Italy and Scotland. And then we win the warm-ups and we get into that World Cup. There's no messing now. We've got a strong squad. Yes, we probably will lose one across the way. But we've got a really good squad there. And maybe 1 or 2 players could be tweaked over the season to come to, injuries aside and everything. But I think that's a cracking squad we got at the moment.
This is a proper contest now, isn't it? Because remember the last time we played New Zealand, everyone keeps harking back, oh yeah, New Zealand put 50 points of Wales. That game was played outside the test window. Wales had loads of players missing. It was a second string Wales. That wasn't a fair contest. This team, I think, do I be positive? I don't know. It goes against brand. I'm not sure.
Do it.
I'm not saying
feel the confusion.
The Dragons to be positive.
I've been called negative quite a lot lately as well. Even people at the Dragons called negative. I think that's the team. I'm not saying we're definitely going to win, but I think that is a team that could potentially beat the All Blacks. I look at our team and I think, yeah, why not? I do. I've got to be honest. I do.
I think they're 28-27 to Wales.
Oh, see, no one gave Carwyn the memo about not predicting a Wales win there, did they?
I'll never go against Wales. I will never, ever go against Wales. I don't care if we're playing the best team on the planet. Wales are winning this weekend, 28-27.
So it's the hope that kills you.
He's already in the mode, man. He's already in that mode.
Oh,
it's the hope that kills you. I've been in that mode for about a month now. I've been ready for this game.
Something I was saying about Dyer is it's just, I said it on Twitter. I've said it before, and stuff like that. But like all season, he's been running at people with reputation, isn't he? Like not caring, like go.
He's fearless.
Do you mean? And he won't, it's against Caleb Clark, who's on the other wing for.
For the Dragons.
That's right.
All Blacks,
top in the world. He'll run at them, and he should be given a license to do so as well, because he's a big fella, isn't he? That can, hold up the ball or just like drive it forwards and stuff like that. But as long as he's looked after by what looks like a very pacey back row that we got as well. So
here's my question for you now, right? Shunza to come on with 20 minutes to go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you've got Alan Wynne-Jones and you've got Shunza to come on with 20 minutes to go. Are you putting Shunza second row, or are you put him in the back row? And if you're putting him in the back row, that guy can play anywhere from 4 to 8. Yeah. And he can cause damage in any one of those positions. So where are you going to put him, and who are you going to take off to bring Shunza on?
Well, you'd expect Alan Wynne to come on, wouldn't you? So maybe not second row. Well, I suppose he could come on as well. I would say he's playing 7 for Exeter at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he come on for Tommy Raffel, who played 7.
It's exactly the same, because Tips is at 6, isn't he?
Yeah, Tips is at 6. So that would be my guess, because he is actually playing that position for Exeter now, and he's thriving at the moment in the English Prem. So I would put him at 7.
I'd bring him on at 8. I'd bring him on instead of Faletau.
Oh, okay, that's another good shout.
Well, it depends on what he's playing.
Yeah, well, Faletau's just had this injury scare and a fitness scare, so it's not going to take much for him to kind of go down, and All Blacks are going to target him if they know that there's a weakness there. They're gonna run at him, and you put Shunza in at 8. He's 6'6", 6'7", 20 stone, and he keeps popping up on the wing. He's
dynamic, isn't he? He's dynamic.
Yeah. I think that might genuinely be his long-term position, because as a big ball carrier and a fast guy, we need somebody there that's going to take over from Faletau, and there's nobody obvious putting their hand up at the minute. And I'd love to see a great big 6'6", big heavy guy running at pace and just doing some damage. And I'd love to see him come on there. But it does throw up an interesting one. Who are you going to take off to bring Shunza on? It's not obvious. Like everybody, you go through the rest of the subs, it's quite obvious. Your scrum half, outside half, you've got Owen Watkin covering the backs in general, right? And Shunza is such a talented player that he can come on. He could probably come on at centre if you asked him to. Do you know what I mean? So I think he's going to be between him and Zammit and Dyer. We're just going to kind of throw so many curveballs at the All Blacks, and a lot of this rests on Thomas Williams and whether he's got that confidence back to just tap and go. We're just standing there in the middle of the pitch, penalty, All Blacks turn their back, go. And I think if we start doing that, and you've got the likes of Dyer and Zammit on your shoulder, then we're going to cause some serious damage.
That's it. We have to be dynamic. We have to be more aggressive than them from the start. Aggression, take it straight to them, and don't let off their throats for the whole 90 minutes if it has to be. just forward. But I think you talk about someone coming off the bench there. Now, God forbid Penny gets injured. Who's your fullback? Who do they switch around there? You got Priest under there to come on as well. You've got Owen Watkin covering the centre, which means George could probably go to the wing. Zamo could go to the fullback. I don't know. I think he's chosen a good selection of backs there on the bench just to switch it around with the guys he's got on the pitch. I think he's got the experience on the pitch to move around as well. I'm really excited, boys. I'm really looking forward to it.
Good.
I can't bloody wait. I think as long as they show that aggression and they play with that tempo and don't let off the throat, I think we've got a great chance of winning this weekend.
The last 20 minutes are key, though, aren't they? Because how many times have we seen Wales? They do really well for like 60 minutes, and we've seen it more so against some of the hemisphere teams. And then they always drop off in those last 20. They've got to really keep their, like you said, they got to play for the full 80. I know that's a rugby cliche, but they've got to do it. It's the only way you're going to beat. And they got to score points. You can't put points on the All Blacks because they're going to keep the scoreboard ticket. So we got to play positively and smart. And I genuinely think we got a chance. I know it's going to kill me. The hope is going to kill me, but I genuinely believe Wales have the best chance they've had in a very long time of turning them over because they're not invincible.
Well, I'm going with my wife. So she's a Kiwi, sat next to me. I'm really hoping to win, isn't it? But I tell you what, we first sat together in 2004 when we lost by a point, and we argued so much during that game that every subsequent game after that, we just sat apart.
And now she's going to be in France. She's going to be in France
for
this
game.
She's
back on Saturday morning.
She's back without her, is she?
She's back on Saturday morning. We're taking my youngest. The 14-year-old is too cool for school now, so she's not coming. But so
now that
you'll have a great time.
Now that Jamie's brought up playing for 80 minutes and a classic cliche, this is a good opportunity now, right, to introduce the drinking game for this weekend. So purely based on what commentators say or something that we're going to see, right? So I've asked, what's his name? Dilama. Have you seen Dilama on Twitter?
Yeah.
And every year he does this really, really detailed, great big drinking game. They're so big.
That's great.
By the time you've worked out what you've got to do, do you know what I mean? You're not watching the game. You're 15 minutes in, you're half cut, you're on the floor, So, yeah. I thought we'd keep it nice and simple for our drinking game, We'll have one each, and then we'll get something off Twitter, and we'll get one of our listeners to nominate the fifth rule, right? So, my rule is any time, and this pisses me off, something chronic, any time that you've got a line out, and they go, good darts, or superb arrows. Go, fuck off. He's throwing a ball into the line out. He's throwing the ball. He's not throwing darts. He's not throwing arrows. He's throwing a fucking rugby ball on a rugby pitch in. Just say that was a good throw. So that's my one, is any time that there's a good arrows or good darts, that's one finger. Yeah.
All right.
And I said
mine is.
Go on, Ed.
Before I forget, mine is every time they say, that's the commentator's curse, when he's definitely going to kick the kick, and then he's fucking misses.
Yes.
All right, because that's my dead sin. So I think that's mine, and that's commentator's curse is 2 points, 2 fingers.
Commentator's curse is 2 fingers. Cool. Jamie, what have you got, mate?
So my rule is you have to down a pint, and it is going to be a pint.
Down a pint?
It's a pint. Yeah, it's a pint. If you hear any commentator or pundit in the studio refer to Louis Rees-Zammit as Rees Lightning. So that's going to be my rule. Because that, I don't know why you're annoyed. They do it on BT all the time, and it really fucking annoys me. It's so cliched. It's so shit. Stop it. Just stop calling him Rees Lightning. He's Rees-Zammit.
You're going to be absolutely floored before kick-off, mate.
Probably will. I probably will.
Where's Jamie?
He's
on the
Jamie?
floor.
No, I don't.
I've called an ambulance already. He's on his way. You can watch it at the hospital.
He wouldn't get an ambulance for about 8 hours over here, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, that is
in the bar.
Cowan will be in charge of allocating you an ambulance. I wouldn't. Cowan will be watching the game. So, Reese, what's your one, mate?
Go on, Reese.
So, whenever the the commentator refers to what's going on in the front row by either saying like the dark arts or turning
that was coming.
turn it to the prop, the next to them go, could you tell us a bit more about what's going on? Or anything on those lines. You have to do 2 fingers, only 2 fingers, that's not pints, Jesus Christ.
I tell you what, it's a shame that John Inverdale isn't around on the commentary anymore, because he could have one, well, let's talk about England. But hey-ho.
Yeah.
That's for another game.
That would be another way. Even if you did 1 finger every time you said, let's talk about England, you'd still be in the same place as Jamie Neck a pint on every time they say Reece Lightning.
I think you probably would.
It'd be awful. So what are we looking for from listeners then? So we're looking for something that really pisses you off when a commentator says it, and it's quite. Who are the commentators for Amazon? Because it's on Amazon Prime, isn't it?
I'm not 100% sure, but Gatland is a pundit. He's going to be punditing for the punditing, if that's a word, for the Wales games.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Warren Gatland
interesting
on Sunday night. I've got a Q&A with Warren Gatland on Sunday in the Swansea Grand.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
That's cool.
You'll have to ask him if he's heard of our podcast, mate.
I will. I'll send him the link. Yeah.
I reckon then if he's going to be a pundit, we should have something where every time Gatland says, "Well, when I was in charge of Wales," and see how many times he rolls that bad boy out. It'd be yeah. All right, so. Let's finish it up then on some proper predictions for the weekend then. So we're just sticking to the Wales game, because there's about 10 games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, isn't this insane? So we are allowed to predict the Wales win and just kind of accept that fate is fate and what'll happen will happen. So go on, Carl, when you start, because you're bursting through. We're going to hammer them or something, innit?
Like I said, 28-27 to Wales.
28-27 hammering.
Reece Priestland comes on and he kicks the winning kick in the final minute.
No, we've done that one. That was South Africa last year, mate. We've done that one. We played that card.
The hearts of the nation will be rushing through. The blood will be rushing through our veins. He kicks off, and that's it. The breweries will run dry once again.
I tell you what, mate. If we don't win on Saturday, you're going to be an absolute nightmare to live with for about a month, because you're really, really up for this, aren't you?
I can't wait. But I'm going to be in Cardigan, not knowing a single bloody soul, in a pub somewhere, and I better have it on, because I tell you what, I'll be going back down to Pembroke for the happening. But I'm sure they'll have it on somewhere, but I don't care. Once you're around rugby folk, it doesn't matter.
There's loads, I'm sure I saw Cardigan Clubhouse have got it on anyway. Which is it's a weird clubhouse, because their clubhouse, you've got to walk through the stand.
That's right. Yeah.
Walk to the end of the stand, up the stand, and then it's kind of like round the back and over the top of the changing rooms. It's a really weird clubhouse to get.
It's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah. So, Jamie, score predictions for the weekend.
Look, I've never ever predicted a Wales win over the All Blacks, and I'm still not going to. So my
oh no!
I'm joking.
My God,
I'm joking, lads. No. As I said earlier, I genuinely believe this is Wales' best chance of getting a win. And I know that New Zealand team is still pretty strong. Of course, they're still going to be very, very difficult to beat. But I do think that team is good enough to turn New Zealand. Or if they play, it might be cliche again, play for the full 80 minutes, don't do anything stupid. Have a good crack at them. I think we'll win. So I'm going to go for Wales by 5 points. But also, just quickly, you want to know about the commentators. I just found out who the commentators are. So it's going to be Andrew Cotter, the lead commentator, who's very, very good, the Scottish guy. Then you got Sam Warburton on co-coms and Tom Shanklin on co-coms.
Oh,
good. So just to let that know. Okay, so I'm going for narrow Wales win. Oh, I said it now. I'm like, bloody hell. Yeah, I'm done now. I've done it now.
Well, for this week only, we're all behind you. So, yeah.
Yeah. I reckon if we can get the ball into Reece Lightning's hands, we're sorted.
Oh, don't you bloody stop.
It's gone. Reese, what's your
I'm
prediction?
going to go, sorry to all the in-laws, and it's like turning my phone off if this doesn't happen, but Wales by 5, man. I'm going to go for that as well.
Hey,
happy days.
This is positive, isn't it? It's really positive. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I wouldn't be able to spare bed if we.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I'm going to go for. I'm going to go 25-10. I don't even think it'll be close. I think we're going to.
What Wales?
What you been drinking?
Where are we going with this now? What team? Where are we going?
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure.
No, I do. I think Wales will shock them. Will do some stuff. Pivac's a clever guy. I know he gets a load of grief on from a load of people, but he knows what he's doing. He really does, and he knows how to break a team. And I just think that he's starting to bring it all together. So, yeah, I'm going to go 25-10, and I'm going to stock up on plenty of beer because I've got a feeling.
Okay, so
listen, boys, thing is going to crucify me, mate. Absolutely crucify me.
I'm off down to Pembroke tomorrow, so I'll shut down Lee's drug farm, and he should come back with some more decent predictions next week.
You'd be very welcome, mate. You'd be very welcome. So we got a couple of minutes before we wrap up, gents. Just going away from all of that for a couple of minutes, just talking about the game in general and what have you. What do we make of the WRU board and the election and Rob Butcher and Jamie? You've been talking a lot about this on Twitter. What's your kind of explain it to Carwyn, because I'll give Carwyn's quote. I know fuck all about this kind of stuff. So kind of educate Carwyn and everyone else on why it's important and what's going on, mate.
Right, so basically, to cut a long story short, the WRU held an AGM last Sunday at the Parkgate Hotel. They put forward a motion to have an independent chair on the WRU board. So that means it's a chair that's not elected by the clubs, basically, someone to come in from the outside and make those difficult decisions. And we all know that game needs to modernise, in Wales. Unfortunately, it didn't get quite enough support. I think the threshold is 75, which is quite high, actually. They got 66. So more clubs voted than against, but the problem is they didn't quite reach that threshold. As a result, Rob Butcher has resigned, although he said that that's not to do with this result. He was going to do it before. I'm not sure if I believe him or not, to be honest. But it's not really surprising, is it? That yet again, there are certain clubs who just aren't willing to move forward, who aren't willing to modernise the game in Wales. And as disappointing as it is, it's not really surprising.
It's beyond disappointing, isn't it? It's like, I mean, worldwide rugby now, when you have like stadiums in, say, New Zealand that can't sell out, sell out for an All Black game anymore. Do you mean that the game's on a crossroads, isn't it? Like, it's got to modernise everywhere, but definitely got to modernise in Wales. And having like the amateur game, around the throat of the professional one is it's just bonkers to me. Like, it's the community tail wagging the professional dog. If you want to use that analogy. This is 2022. We can't have. I mean, community rugby is very important, right? It's very important. Massively.
But we can't downplay that. But there has to be a recognition. Yeah, there is a gravy train at the WRU, and they have to recognise and understand that the WRU is a multi-million-pound business, and it needs to be run by professional businessmen. This is why now they're going to elect a new chairman. And all the best to Rob Butcher. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but he was underqualified for that role.
Yeah, not good enough.
He was not qualified for that role. I appreciate he's been a great club servant. What they need is someone who has professional business administration skills and someone with a background in sport. Well, the problem is the clubs will have to decide again, but they will elect the next chairman. Are they going to bring in the right guy, or are we just going to get another repeat? That's my concern, So we'll just see what happens. But, there has to be a recognition.
It's from a mistrust from the clubs about what would happen. But let's point out as well, the 66% did vote for it, like, in this over half.
Yeah.
But there's big, strong mistrust in Welsh rugby, is there, about like if this happens, what it'll do to already struggling clubs. Clubs around me, like and Carwyn, like Llandaff North, say, village clubs like that sort of thing that used to run like 3 sides and a vet side and a youth side, every Saturday, are struggling for one side now and stuff like that. So I get that and what have you, but something has to be done at the top of the pot for that to happen.
Community rugby
to be flowing that way as well.
Community rugby is struggling, right? I mean, there's all these reports about games getting called off. That has challenges. I recognise that. But, it's like I said, we've got to move forward. Something, we need to modernise the business because we can't carry on like this.
I think half the problem is that we keep telling these lower league clubs that this is a 150 million pound business or whatever. And they're sitting there going, well, we're not seeing it. Do you know what I mean? Why every now and again
it's mismanaged by amateurs.
Well, I think this is the problem. See, is they look at what's happening and they go, well, if we change this, it'll be worse. Yeah, like every now and again, the WRU will run this grant scheme where you can redo your changing rooms. There's only so much of that you can do. Yeah, and I don't think the clubs are feeling enough of the benefits of the top of the game to go, okay, you're running this game really well, off you go. And I think part of the problem as well is that if you've ever tried getting a volunteer inside a rugby club, it's really, really difficult. Yeah. I was talking to a couple of guys earlier where we used to have a load of committee men around you all the time. You couldn't move for committee men. Yeah, everything was cleaned, polished. The pitch was mowed within an inch of its life. Everything was spick and span. It's not like that anymore. You might have 5 or 6 guys running the whole stuff in the background and trying to do their best, and they just need a bit of support. And I think that's what's holding it back. Is they're not. You've got these old guys that have maybe been doing this 35, 40 years and really struggling, and they're doing their best. And they need a bit of support from the WRU. And I think if that support was there, and then the WRU was saying, look, we're doing this because the top end of the game is making X amount of millions. However, if we had an independent share, we could maybe double that over the next 5 years. And if we double that income, the benefit for you at this level will be bang, 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 bang. I don't think anybody's taking the time to look at that bottom layer and go, what will the benefit of that bottom layer be? And until they do, they're not going to get their own way, because we're stuck in this structure where you can't change a structure unless everybody inside that structure votes to change themselves. Yeah, and you're not going to vote to have less influence unless there's something in it for you. So
Well, what's in it for everybody is that Welsh rugby survives, and not only survives, thrives, isn't it? So like the regions need like more money pumped into them, sort of thing, to be competitive. Coaching pipeline needs to be sort of created, isn't it? Like there's more effective. It's good that like people like Dow Flanagan keep popping up all now and again, isn't it? But we need something a bit more robust. When we talked about crowds a couple of pods ago and stuff like that, bringing successful breed crowds coming back, young people watching their heroes play and then wanting to play for their local clubs. Then money then for the local clubs and stuff like that to build changing rooms, to build those parks in partnership with colleges, local authorities and stuff like that. So people can go out and play rugby and things like that. Yeah. And then those players go up and play for the region of Wales again. But
the problem is there's too much self-interest in Welsh rugby, and that's what's killing the game. And I always remember watching an interview that Gareth Davies did, and he said that there's just too much self-interest. Nobody could ever agree on anything. Everyone's fighting. They're not working with each other. And let's not forget Gareth Davies, right? He did his best to modernise. He did his best. But what happened? The clubs voted him out. So we actually had a good qualified chairman with business administration experience, but the clubs voted him out, and therein lies the problem.
Everyone is comfortable in their own position and don't want to let go.
Yeah. It's a gravy train, mate. That's what the rugby is, unfortunately.
But can I just maybe say, before I forget, Lee, sorry, before I forget, So I'm talking of props. My wife just walked in and said, Neville Southall's just started following me on Twitter.
Well done.
And on that note, ladies and gents, we're going to knock it on the head.
How can we compete with that? We can't. We can't compete with that, can we? Yeah. Never Southall. Bloody hell.
Enjoy your rugby this weekend, guys. Have a great one. We'll catch up. Well, that's a wrap. Did you see what we did there? Did you see? It was good, wasn't it? So we hope you enjoyed listening to the show today. If you'd like to get involved with the show, you can message us by going to anchor.fm/wrap, the WRRAP. Hit the message button and you can record a short voice message for us to play on the show. Or you can follow us on Twitter with Wrap Podcast, WRRA Podcast. See what we did there? We don't just put this stuff together, you know. Or you can email us on a Welsh Regional Rugby Pod at gmail.com. So don't forget, this is the show for you, the fans. The more of you that get involved, the better the show is. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed it.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.